In 1950, in a remote village called La Javie in the French Alps, local police repeatedly received strange reports. These were not serious crimes, but rather petty thefts that were utterly baffling. Clothes, shoes, and even household items suddenly vanished without a trace. The locals had no idea that they had just hosted uninvited guests from a place 14 light-years away from Earth. At the same time, in Madrid, Paris, and a series of major European cities, leading scientists suddenly received strange letters through the mail. Inside were no ordinary messages, but hundreds of pages of documents containing knowledge of physics, mathematics, and astronomy that far exceeded human understanding at the time. Notably, all of them were stamped with a peculiar seal featuring a character resembling the Chinese symbol, Wang, but with a mysterious curved stroke. They called themselves the Ummo. They did not come with force, nor did they appear in flying saucers over the White House. They chose the quietest approach, sending letters. But behind those pages lay a warning that could forever change the destiny of humanity. According to the contents of the letters, the Ummo people come from a planet orbiting the binary star system Wolf 424, which they call Yama. The distance from there to Earth is 14.4 light-years. For our technological level in 1950, that was an insurmountable distance. But to the Ummo, the universe is not a flat, static plane, it is a multidimensional entity that can be warped. The Ummo explained that they do not fly in a straight line. They utilize folded space technology. Instead of taking decades, they only needed 6 months of Earth time to complete this great journey. But why did they find us? The answer lies in an accidental mistake by humanity. In 1934, a Russian radio ship conducting experiments at sea transmitted an extremely powerful signal into deep space. This signal, following the inverse square law, radiated throughout the universe. 15 years later, it reached the Wolf 424 system. The Ummo intercepted it. To their utter amazement, they discovered the existence of a civilization on the fringe of the galaxy. They called Earth Oyaga, the square planet. Why square? That was how they described humanity's primitive communication methods based on basic electromagnetic physics laws. The Ummo letters described their spacecraft in startling detail. It does not operate on fossil fuels but relies on electromagnetic liquid and the magnetic field of the destination planet itself. Inside the flying saucer is a special gel layer made of a high-pressure compressed hydrogen and oxygen compound to protect the astronauts' bodies from extreme inertial forces. These details were so realistic that they sent shivers down the spines of aeronautical engineers at the time. The most shocking thing was not the spacecraft, but the Ummo people themselves. They look exactly like us, belonging to the Caucasian race. However, through millions of years of evolution, their bodies have undergone significant changes. The vocal cords of the Ummo atrophy during their growth process. They do not speak using sounds like we do. Instead, they communicate via telepathy, a form of direct brain signal transmission. To communicate with humans, they must use special laryngeal support devices, which produce sounds with a very heavy and unpleasant nasal tone. Ummo society is a utopia that many sociologists have dreamed of, yet it remains highly controversial. They are governed by a high committee consisting of 14 individuals. But make no mistake, this is not a dictatorship. These 14 people are selected by a supercomputer network from the moment they are born, based on their IQ and, most importantly, their moral index. On the planet Ummo, there is no career choice based on personal preference. The computer decides what you will do to bring the greatest benefit to the community. They believe that, the more personal choices there are, the more conflict and suffering there will be. Ummo children leave their families at the age of 13 to join collective academies. They learn how to help others before learning how to satisfy themselves. A society without war, without currency, but is the price for this the loss of individual identity? The Ummo initially intended to observe Earth for only 6 months and then depart. However, their plans changed completely when they realized humanity held the fire of the gods in its hands, nuclear weapons. To the Ummo, this was like a child holding a grenade with the pin already pulled. They secretly contacted the US government in the 1950s, proposing an exchange of technology for nuclear disarmament. But the only answers they received were silence or attempts to hunt them down. Disappointed, the Ummo delivered 3 prophecies regarding the ultimate fate of Earth. The first outcome, humanity's suicide. Nuclear war is the most likely scenario. The Ummo assert that if a nuclear conflict breaks out, it will not only annihilate humanity but also tear through the barriers of spacetime, affecting neighboring civilizations. They revealed that they have built 3 massive underground bases in France and Spain to evacuate 200 Ummo personnel and a small number of chosen humans when the final hour strikes. The second outcome, forced intervention. If humanity becomes too reckless and threatens the safety of the galaxy, extraterrestrial races, not just the Ummo, will carry out a large-scale landing to take over Earth. We would lose our right to self-determination. Earth would become a protectorate under the strict supervision of higher intelligences. The third outcome, the Great Awakening. This is the only scenario that offers hope. If humans can raise their spiritual frequency and allow conscience to triumph over desire, we will enter the next stage of evolution. The Ummo believe that the meaning of life does not lie in possession, but in learning how to connect and help one another. For over 70 years, the Ummo case has remained a thorn in the side of the scientific community. Many believe it is merely a sophisticated hoax created by a group of science fiction enthusiasts. Someone even stepped forward to claim responsibility in 1990. Yet, one question remains unanswered: how could a group of ordinary people produce thousands of pages of documents containing theoretical physics knowledge that modern science only began to grasp decades later? The renowned French physicist Jean-Pierre Petit has asserted that much of his research on cosmology and fluid dynamics was directly inspired by the Ummo letters. He believes that such knowledge could not have originated from a human brain in the 1950s. To this day, the Ummo wand symbol still occasionally appears in UFO reports around the world. Perhaps they are still here, living in ordinary houses, wearing ordinary clothes, and watching us. They are not saviors, they are worried neighbors. The future of Earth does not lie within letters from Wolf 424, but in our very own hands and minds. Are we alone? Perhaps that question is no longer as important as this: do we deserve to exist in this vast universe? If one day you receive a letter stamped with this strange seal, what would you do? Leave a comment below and don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Wonders as we continue to decode the next mysteries of the universe.
Thank you for watching. If you want, you can subscribe to catch the next videos. Or, if you have more time, you can watch other videos on the channel.